welcome to the podcast, guys. First off, I know this is titled The X-Men, and I am aware that I opened with the Avengers theme on Kazoo. That is because I could not find the X-Men theme on Kazoo, and also I personally like the Avengers opening better. That being said, the title's kind of self-explanatory. Today, Sarah and I are going to be talking about X-Men in our lives. I am going to throw a trigger warning out right now. We will be talking about mentions of abuse in this episode, and I just want you to be aware of the content before you get further into the podcast. Because of the nature of the topics, we kind of didn't really know how to start the podcast episode. So as soon as I'm done talking here, we're really just going to jump right into it. So I'm just going to give you some background. I'm going to start talking about this guy that I was seeing when I was 17 and in high school. And the code name that I've given him is Wolverine. So here is the podcast. So the first guy that I am going to be talking about has been given the name Wolverine for the sake of X-Men. So he was the first guy that I really liked and I really felt just like naturally comfortable with. Like I felt like I could be myself around him and he just made me feel special. And we were going on these like what he called friend dates, and we kind of never really defined what that was. So I'm out here, thinking like, okay, these are definitely dates, and I guess we were not on the same page. But like one of these dates that we went on, he came to my house and he's like, I have this place in mind that I want to take you, and it's kind of far, but I have a full tank of gas and I'm like more than happy to spend it taking you to this like place. And I'm like, oh, well, that's really sweet. And it was a bookstore, which is even more sweet because I love books. And it was like during the new release of like Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, so there was a bunch of Harry Potter decor, and I was like, oh man, this guy knows me. And we bought like funny socks, so like he picked out a pair and I picked out a pair, and we kind of mismatched them, so we each had one of each. And then we went to this candy store, and then we went and got ice cream, which he paid for, which is why I figured it was a date. And he's like, let's get one flavor that we want, and then we'll pick one, like, exotic flavor, like, that we would usually never get. So it was, like, really nice. But then, of course, I find out, like, a month later that he had, like, kissed this other girl. You already know who it is. And
yikes.
My exact reaction, because I was so caught off guard, and like I was like 17 and he was like 19 or something. This girl was like 14. She was like straight up a child, and she acted like one too, but that's not my point. But my point is she was baby. So that was just weird. But anyways, normally I wouldn't blame the other girl, because more likely than not, she was being played too. But in this instance, she was being such a little bitch. Like, she would message me, because he gave me the silent treatment for like a week, and so I messaged her like, hey, have you heard from him? Like, is he good? Is he dead? And she's like, oh, he just fell asleep. Like, that's my man, but I'll give him a message, like, when he wakes up. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, Jesus Christ, like, that's just beyond extra, right? And so at a certain point, he knows that her and I are not vibing whatsoever, and he left a love note in my mailbox. And this is like right after he was giving me the silent treatment. All he texted me is like, hey, I left something in your mailbox. And I was like at the mall with Nick Mankey, and I was like, I have to go home right now. Like, what if my dad sees it or something? And I got home.
You're like, who the hell?
No, literally, I got to my house, and someone had already grabbed the mail, and I was like, and thank God it was my mom. And so she like came into my room and was like, hey, Wolverine left this in the mailbox for you. And I was like, and the way he folded the paper, you could only see the part at the bottom that said "Love Wolverine," and I was like, God damn it.
Wait, so he didn't put your address, it was just
No, like
name?
He drove to my house, and it was like a folded piece of binder paper, front and back written on, and he folded it and put it in the mailbox.
Honestly, if you couldn't afford the stamps, dude, it's only, 10 cents for a stamp? You should have just mailed it. That would have been, wow.
He, slingshots it at me.
I guess he used the gas money to get to the house.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so, this whole, note is, I love hanging out with you, you're so special, you're so beautiful. He said, you're my Kayla, and I was like, dang it, that's really cute and sweet. But then he goes, but I'm with so-and-so now, and I'm like, and he's like, now that I'm a man and in a relationship, I have to spend my time with her, and she feels threatened by you. And he's giving all these reasons about all this stuff, and I'm like, are you kidding? She feels threatened by me? I'm a loser, and she had no problem telling me off about her man falling asleep in her arm. What? That made no sense to me. And I'm kind of ashamed because I actually kept the note. I still have it. And the only reason I kept it, because I get so much from my friends, the only reason I kept it is because that's the only love note that I've ever gotten from anybody. Apart from the Valentine's Day cards that you're required to give in, elementary school, I don't get that kind of attention. I don't get, those kinds of affections unless they're birthday cards from family members. So, this was the first time a guy really laid it all out on the line and, made me feel like I was worth something, even though at the same time he goes, you're not good enough for me. So, yeah, that's kind of wild. And then, we talked on the phone after that. I remember, going to the car because I didn't want my parents to hear me talking in person. Because, of course, I was, crying at the same time while we're on the phone. And I told him off big time. I'm like, are you kidding me? I gave them space for, 2-3 months. We had these plans in the works. And then he started putting rules for the relationship. He goes, here's the deal. He goes, I'm with her now. And so if we're hanging out, you can't post pictures. If you want to take pictures, I will be the one holding the camera. But you can't put me in it. That is
such a big red flag.
Exactly. I had bigger balls back then because I shut that down the very moment he said that. I said, no, if you're going to put rules on a friendship, you're not worth my time. And I blocked him and I never talked to him again.
Can I just say, you said he was 17 at the time and she was 14?
He was 19. I was 17.
Wait, and then how old was she?
She was 14 younger, right? Or 15. Yeah, she's younger than me.
First off, illegal.
Jail?
He's letting a literal teenage girl make all these decisions for him.
For real. And she knew at the time that I was following her on Instagram because, we all did theater together, so you have to, fake being friends with people and whatever. And so she would constantly post pictures after I would post pictures with, similar captions, and she put, hearts, heart, and then, his initials. I'm like, okay, we get it. You're, you're dating him, whatever. And, I mean, we mentioned it in the last podcast episode we did, but, I will check their Instagram sometimes. I will very rarely unblock them just to see how they're doing, see if I'm doing better. And then I will re-block them because, that's not good for my mental health, but, Yeah, I don't know, that was just really wild. I mean, because I was joking last time when we said, that when that guy in middle school just kind of said no, that set me up for the rest of my life, but,
that gave me the same same vibes, but in a nicer way.
Like, to be honest, literally that is what happens in my life. I get I get my prom date leaving at 8:30. I get this madness. Like, what
the video games.
Bro, my mom mentioned it in the car today. She goes, I didn't know your prom date left you. I'm like, yep. I swear I told you, but, it's whatever.
The more you know.
Yeah, I mean...
but wait, there's more.
Honestly, that is the story of my life. Yeah, I mean, the common link between this guy and Professor X, who I'll talk about next, is that they both like putting rules on relationships. And I'm like, you know what? Like, you want to consider yourself a grown man, like, oh, I'm 19, or like, oh, I'm 30, but like, you can't put terms on a relationship, like, this isn't a contract, there's no fine print, there's no terms and conditions, like, it has to be like a mutual agreement to have fun, regardless of the kind of relationship. Like, if you didn't like me, like, we wouldn't hang out as friends, and there's no condition that says you have to, you know what I mean?
100% agreed right there.
Men.
Literal trash.
Men in the Bay Area are hot fire garbage.
Honestly, they really are, though. Like,
they're not...
I feel like it's very, very hard to find someone in this area with good intentions.
And if you find someone, like, located in the Bay Area, they're usually like, yeah, I'm from somewhere else. Originally.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, I'm from Sacramento.
That explains so much.
Oh, you're from here.
All right. Would you like to then go into your spiel about Cyclops?
Oh, God. My spiel, more like my essay. Yes. I'll go. Where should I even begin? Do I just start from the beginning? Because, like, everything was just...
No,
was just a mess.
I had the same problem when I was taking notes for Professor X, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, I could write a, 1,000-page novel about everything wrong in the 1 month that we were together, so...
Yeah, I was gonna say, it wasn't even long for you guys.
Literally 4 weeks.
But let me just say, it was like watching reality TV. but like, actually happening to you, and, like, no extra drama. It was just someone's life.
My life is just that laughable.
Not the director being like, yeah, we need you to, like, add a little more spice to the story. Nah, like, it's like he just dropped the whole, like, thing of, like, seasonings.
When the lid is unscrewed and all of it comes out.
Pretty much. Or when you're boiling pasta and the water's too high and it just boils over onto the stove, that's pretty much...
That is our lives. All right. I'll provide commentary as you go on about yours.
Well, I know you know mine.
Yes. Yes, I do.
As well as a fair amount of people. Shout out to Twitter. Anyway. Cyclops, where do I begin? This was senior year of high school, so 2017. Oh my god. 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
It literally was 4 years ago. Anyways, where to begin? Well, let's see. I met Cyclops freshman year of high school through one of his friends who I mentioned in the other podcast, who was my Sadie's date. And they were like best friends. Yeah, which was really weird.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Groups.
What?
Yeah. Wait, you didn't know? Yeah, they were like best friends. And then for some reason they weren't best friends anymore. Like sophomore year of high school, I don't know why. I guess like just grew apart. I don't know. Anyways, so I met him freshman year. I mean, we'd talk because he knew who I was because of, Ryan. So he'd be like, oh, hey. And I'd be like, hey. And then, like, that's pretty much it. Like, a hey, hi, how are you? That's it. And then senior year, I don't know why, until I will get there as the reason why. But anyways, senior year, and then we just started talking because we had Mr. Denovan.
Love it.
God, that class was such a joke, but I miss him because that was the easiest class ever. Anyway,
when we gave him a microwave and he kept it,
he was happy too. He was like, "Oh wow,
for me."
And then was it the next year, right, or was it that year? I think it was the next year where he was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving."
Right, it was literally that year.
It was, right? Yeah. Okay, so it was that year. Wait, no. So that means. Okay, pause. Wait, so you had Denovan's. It was senior year, right? We had Denovan.
Yeah. We both had Denovan senior year. And
okay,
he left
so then I also
year.
had Denovan junior year, which is where I started talking to Cyclops more, which was junior year then.
Got you, okay.
And I didn't know this at the point, because during this time, he was dating a girl. I won't say the name.
Okay.
But
I'm like,
he was
wait.
dating a girl, and I guess I thought they were fine because, like, I would always be there after school because of my mom, and I would choose to rather just wait at school for an extra hour than walk home, which would only take me half an hour.
Okay.
But I was lazy, so I'd just stay at school. And then I'd always see him, so I thought, everything was fine. But apparently they broke up during junior year, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of weird because, I don't know, because they would still talk and stuff, so I didn't think much of it. Anyways, so yeah, that's when we mostly started talking, and, like, we got, I wouldn't say close, but it was, like, just, like, friendly, kind of, like, friends or whatever, like, classroom friends, where it's, like, you're friends in the classroom, but then on your side of the classroom, it's just kind of, like, you see them, it's, like, hey, but it's never, like, oh, my God, we should hang out type of thing.
Right.
So then it was, like, that situation. Flash forward to a year later, I remember this. I went to the basketball game for senior night for the girls' basketball team because I was with my friends, and their friends were in the basketball team, so I just went, just because I had nothing else to do with my life. So I went. Turns out Cyclops' sister was on the basketball team, not for varsity, but for JV. So he was there, and he had no one sitting with him. And then after that day, like, that's when literally slid into my DMs.
Oh.
And after that, the rest is history. Unfortunate history.
Oh, wow.
But it was history. And then from there, we started talking. And within the talking phase was about a month. And everything was fine. No red flags. Everything was normal. Wasn't obsessive. None of that. So we started dating.
Can someone say foreshadowing?
We started dating. Huh?
Can someone say foreshadowing?
Oh, foreshadowing. Yes, ma'am.
Here we go.
April 6th, 2017 is when I remember was when he asked me out. And I said yes. And I will greatly regret that decision for the rest of my life. Anyways, I said yes. And after that, everything was fine. Everything was fine. Nothing changed. It was as if we were still, friends. But, like, we're dating,
Yeah, like, you guys seemed happy when I saw you at school.
Yeah, like, everything was normal, and, yeah, everything was fine until prom night is when I got another look, and I was like, hold the phone. So prom happened, and originally he didn't want to go to prom, and I was like, bro, like, we're dating, like, come on, like, at least just go to prom, like, it's our senior prom, and, like, he didn't go last year, I didn't go last year, so it's like, come on, we're dating, like, might as well go. So his stepmom had to convince him, and he was like, okay, fine, I'll go. So we eventually went. We took pictures in front of Hayes Mansion, and that night was something. We didn't end up eating dinner there because we went to In-N-Out before arriving. However, we didn't even eat the In-N-Out at all. So the In-N-Out was just chilling in the car the whole night. So we went in hungry. Yeah, I don't know why we didn't eat it.
You can't waste perfectly good In-N-Out. That should be a red flag right there.
Exactly. Yeah, so for real, I should have just walked out. Anyways, yeah, so everything was fine. And then because I believe it was after dessert is when they opened up the dance floor. So everyone's like, oh, you could go in and dance or whatever, right? So they opened the doors. Of course, everyone goes in to dance because that's literally what everyone wanted to do. And, if you remember the other podcast, dancing, what do?
We grind. Or, well, you grind if your date doesn't leave.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad for laughing.
Oh, no, it's okay. My mom laughed, too.
Anyways, Yeah, you do that or whatever you want to do with your friends. So we were in a circle, and I was just dancing with my friends. It was like my friend group, and then he was there, so he was like dancing like next to us. Like we weren't doing anything like weird. It was just us, just dancing, singing. I remember behind us, I guess his ex was there with her date, and I guess her date like bumped into like Cyclops or whatever. And I didn't see it happen. This is according to what he said. Apparently, like, her date bumped into him, gave him, like, an evil eye or, like, an evil look or whatever, and then he walked away. However, I didn't see him walk away because I was distracted with my friends, like, just singing and stuff. And then, so I'm, like, looking around. I'm like, where the hell did Cyclops go? So I asked my friends, like, did any of you guys see him? And then they're like, no. And then I asked, like, around, and they're like, oh, yeah, we saw him. Like, he's, like, in the hallway, like, outside of the... outside of like the banquet hall. And I was like, okay, so I walk out, and I was like, what happened? And then he like, told me what I exactly just said, like, bumped into me, gave me a look, like, and I was like, oh, well, it's fine, like, we could just go back in, like, I don't see like the problem. And he was like, no, I don't want to go back in, like, it's bad energy in there. I was like, okay. I was like, do you want to go to the other side of the dance floor? He's like, no, I don't want to like go back in at all. Mind you, the dance was until like 10 p.m. and it was only like 7 p.m. at this point.
Oh
like
my
the
God.
dance floor literally just opened 15 minutes ago. And I was like, so you don't want to go in at all? And he's like, no. And I was like, okay, then what do you want to do? I was like, you don't even want to go on the other side? He's like, no. And I was like, what do you want to do? Like, I kept asking what he wanted to do. He's like, I don't know. I was like, what do you want to do? And he's just like, let's just stay outside. And he's like, do you want to leave early? And of course I didn't want to leave early. Like, It's my senior prom. Felt like I couldn't. Anyway, leaving early. Anyways, we ended up literally just sitting at the tables, like where they had dinner, the whole night and didn't do anything, which was very boring. Right. Because we just sat there, and it's like, okay, now what? Like, because everyone was like all having fun inside, and like my friends are in there, right? But obviously you have to choose like your friends or like your boyfriend or whatever. Me being dumb at the time, I was like, I'll stay with my boyfriend because like I don't want him to make him mad, and plus I was kind of the one who was like, we should go to prom type of thing. Anyways, so prom ends. It's like 10 p.m. ish, and then so he drove, so we're driving and like heading back, but he couldn't stay out late because he was grounded. So he had to be home before midnight. I had no curfew because I told my parents I was going to hang out with my friends after, which I was. And this is where the thing gets horrible.
Oh,
so anyways,
love it.
He wanted to go to Olive Garden. So we're driving to Olive Garden. They're closed. So we get back in the car, and he's like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I feel bad for like prom or whatever. I just didn't have like good, like there's just wasn't good energy instead of like the banquet hall or whatever. So I want to make it up to you. So it was nice. He put music on his iPod because both him and I didn't have smartphones in high school. We literally had iPods and slide into text phones. Great time. Anyways, so he put music on his iPod. So I was like, oh, okay, cute, like nice. He's trying to remake this. Mind you, this was the Olive Garden parking lot. Like I had really low standards. So he's playing music on his iPod and everything's fine. Like we're slow dancing and stuff. Aww. And then he asked the question like, oh, do you have plans like after this? Because I know I have to go home like after I drop you off because like I'm grounded and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I was gonna actually go over to my friend's house and like we were gonna like have a party. And his mood like literally went a full-on 180, like a full-on what do you mean a party? Which he knew what I meant, but him like wanting me to say it, he was like, what do you mean a party? And I was like, what do you mean a party? Like party? And he's like, yeah, but with who? So I like listed with who, and like he's like, well, where at? And I told him where at. And immediately this man said, get in the car, let go of me, and like turn off the music. And like it was I was like, what is this guy? And I got in the car, and he slams the door, and he's like holding onto the the steering wheel, and looks so mad.
Bro, that's scary.
And I was literally in the passenger seat. Like I literally asked, are you okay? Like, why did you like? What happened? And he's like, why would you go to a party? And I was like, why wouldn't I? It's my senior year of prom. My friends are going. Like I thought it'd be fun. And he's like, were you gonna drink? And I was like, most likely, yeah, but I was going to sleep over at my friend's house, who literally lives 2 streets away from where I was going to be, so we were going to walk home. And I told him, like, yeah, I was going to go sleep over at my friend's house, who literally lives 2 streets away, and her mom's okay with it. And then he just started going off about drinking, and, like, I'm, like, technically it is illegal because I'm underage and stuff. And I'm just like, what the hell? And he just got so mad. Like, this man is, like, pasty. Like, pull out a piece of paper, like, that's him. And this man was literally red like a tomato. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Wait, but, like,
So that,
didn't he drink in high school, too, or no?
yes! And
So
that's
what's
where
his
I was
problem?
confused. That's where I was confused. Because I was like, in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. And I even told him that. I was like, wait a minute. I thought you used to drink, like, you know, with your friends. And he's
Literally.
like, yeah, but that's not me anymore. Like, I don't do that. And I was like, okay, well, that's a you problem. Like, that's your life. That if you wanted to stop, sure, be my guest. But, like, this is my life. Like, what the hell? And then he would just have, like, a really, like, negative attitude towards me. It was just really rude to me. And I was like, what the? Anyways, moral of the story, we leave Olive Garden parking lot. It's a quiet drive. Like, I did not speak at all. He did not speak at all. We go to the Jack in the Box drive-thru because he's like, are you hungry? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, fine. So we go to Jack in the Box. He takes me home, drops me off, and he's like, well, have fun at your party. And I didn't end up going because I was like, what the hell? And then I don't think my friends ended up going, if I can recall. I don't think they ended up going to the party at all. They just went home. So I was like, that is so weird. Which instantly I should have been like, red flag, drop this man. No, my dumbass stayed with him. So fast forward another month. It's like end of May, like towards senior finals week. It was that time. And at this point, I remember clearly our washer and dryer at my house was broken. So we had to go to a laundromat and do the work. So I took my clothes to the laundromat. And during that time while I was waiting, you know, for the washer and the dryer and my clothes and stuff, I was studying for finals. And I'll never forget, I got a text saying, from Cyclops, come pick me up at the 7-Eleven parking lot by our house. And I was so confused because I was like, what? And then instantly I get a call saying, like, hey, please pick me up from the parking lot. And I instantly, like, thought something bad happened. Like, you know, like, I don't know what happened. Like, maybe he got robbed. I don't know. Anyways, so I go, and this man, tell me why, he has a full-on duffel bag, like he's traveling, like, to an airport or something. Yeah. I pull up, and I was like, are you okay? And he's like, I just got kicked out of my house, I have nowhere to stay, blah, blah, blah. Like, I got into a fight with my stepmom, and my dad's like, either you respect or you leave. So I guess the dad was, and then he was like, well, no, because she's not treating me right, something like that. And then the dad's like, okay, well, then you can't be in this house until, like, you know, you guys get it together. So he kicked his own son out. That's what I thought the story went like.
Oh.
Anyways, kicked her out, and then I told my parents. So my parents, like, at the time, like, it was technically, like, my real, like, first boyfriend, you know? And my parents, like, felt bad, you know, because I told them, like, the story, because that's what Cyclops told me. And my parents being, like, super nice, they're like, well, you know what, for one night, he could spend the night with us, but he's gonna have to sleep, like, in the living room, you know? I was like, okay, that's fine. So, like, anyways, it was supposed to only be, like, a 1-night, 2-night stay max, because my dad talked to him and was like, oh, you can spend the night for 1 night. However, like, the next night, like, I'd prefer, like, hopefully you have somewhere else to go, because Cyclops is saying, like, yeah, I'll ask my friend, like, if I can stay with him, blah, blah, blah. This man stayed in my house for, like, a month and a half.
What?
Yes. So what happened is, I don't know, supposedly his friend, like, was like, yeah, I could let you spend the night for, like, 1 night, but, like, you can't, like, live with me, because what the hell? So I didn't know this, because I thought, because every day I was like, when is he gonna leave? Not right. Like, get out of my house, but, like, it's just like, the hell? Like,
right, because he doesn't live there.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, yeah, it's my boyfriend, like, it's cool and stuff, but it's also like, you said this won't be for 1 night. We're on, like, week 2 now. So anyways, this is where everything just really went downhill. So he started living with me. It was, like, cool, but yet really weird at the same time, because I was still in high school, and, like, literally for graduation, like, it was weird, because supposedly he had, like, no relationship with his family, because he got, like, kicked out or whatever, and I guess shunned. But then he was still, like, talking to his dad on the side, and obviously he still had contact with his sister, because his sister, like, literally had nothing to do with it, and, like, his sister was, like, younger than him.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's fine, like, if you text your sister. But I thought it was weird that he was texting his dad, and the dad was, like, responding, like, oh, love you, son, and stuff. Because I'm like, wait, did you literally just kick him out, right? I thought that was weird. So graduation comes, and it's approaching, and I have figured, you know, we're going to carpool, and, like, after we're going to go eat dinner together, because he literally lives with me, and, like, literally doesn't live at home. No, this guy is like, oh, yeah, by the way, my dad's going to pick me up from graduation, and we're going to take pictures pictures and stuff.
What the?
And I was really confused. And then he's like, oh, yeah, after graduation, I'll just meet you at your house because I'm going to go out to eat with my family. And I was so confused because I was like, wait, didn't you just kicked? Like, I was so confused.
Right.
Like, didn't you literally just get kicked out, right? So I didn't think anything of much of it. Mind you, it was graduation, so I didn't want to start anything. So I was like, okay, like, that's fine, whatever. So he comes back, and he has, like, a bunch of balloons and, like, gifts and stuff. And I'm like, huh?
What?
Like, you literally got kicked out. Anyways, this is where I'm, like, kind of like, okay, what's going on here? Anyways, the following week, like, 5 days later, I believe, I had a trip to Hawaii that I planned with my friends back in January. So before I even, like, started talking to him. And he was like, no, don't go to Hawaii and blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, I literally bought the plane tickets back in January before I even met you. So I go. This man's still living at my house when I'm not there for a week.
That's weird.
Yeah, and it was really weird because at that point, my parents weren't home. My parents and my sister weren't home because my sister had a soccer tournament for the exact same week I left in Seattle. So my parents and my sister were there while my brother, my younger brother, was home. And my older brother was, like, staying with his girlfriend at the time. So it was really weird because I was like, what the? And we're going to go back to Hawaii. Let me just say, it was a really fun trip. However, he ruined it because at the time, my friend, she snuck bottles in her suitcase to Hawaii. Mind you, we're 18 at the time. So she was so scared in line for TSA. She was like, Sarah, I'm so scared. I was like, why? And she's like, there's bottles in my bag. I was like, what do you mean bottles? And I knew exactly what she meant, but I wanted her to say it. And she's like, I have literally alcohol in my bag. And I was like, bro, why? And she's like, I just wanted to have fun. And I was like, okay. I was like, was it in your checked-in bag or, like, you know, the carry-on? She's like, no, it's like the check-in bag. She's like, I was like, oh, you'll be fine because they don't usually, like, check or really care that much. Because you're still allowed to bring it. Anyways, so we get there, right? And, like, I think it was, like, second or third day we decided to open the bottles, like, while we swim. And mind you, we weren't, like, drinking to, like, get blacked out or whatever. It was, like, a drink or two, like, a shot or two, and that's it. Because obviously we're swimming. Like, we're not going to get messed up.
Right.
Mind you, also, we're minors. So if we get caught, like, what-oh. So I forgot who. I think one of my friends posted on their story, like, the bottles.
Right.
And Cyclops had all my friends on Snap.
Oh,
so he saw it, yeah. And immediately that led to a phone call and him getting mad at me for, like, a good 4 hours. And my friends can, like, contest to this because they're like, where the hell did Sarah go? And I was back in, like, the apartment, like, area that we were staying at. And they're like, oh, God, like, she's arguing with, like, Cyclops or whatever. And this man was getting mad at me for drinking. Fast forward to 2 days later, I get a call at, I believe it was, well, Hawaii is about 3 hours behind. So here it was like 8 a.m. So I got a call at, I think it was 5 a.m. over there.
Love it.
Because I felt like my phone, like, vibrating. And I looked, and it's him. So I picked it up. And it's him just, like, sobbing, like, oh, my God, I messed up. And I was like, what did you do? And then, guess what? He drank really heavy the night before and blacked out.
Wow.
And apparently, he thought it would be a great idea to drive the next morning. He thought it'd be a great idea to take my dad's car.
No.
Give him permission to drive. Yeah, he thought it'd be a good idea to take my dad's car when he's hungover. Because if you're, like, blacked out, usually the next day you wake up hung over. Or you're still, like, slightly drunk and hungover at the same time, which he was that, and decided to go drive to his house where he supposedly got kicked out of and pick up his sister and take her to church. However, in pulling out of my driveway, he hit my neighbor's car.
Oh, no.
So he was crying on the phone to me like, oh my God, I hit your neighbor's car. Like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, what the? Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I'm in Hawaii right now. Like, I'm just trying to have a vacation and I'm here dealing with this BS. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And I was like, well, you have to tell, like, my parents. And he's like, no, like, I can't tell your parents. Mind you, my parents are still in Seattle with my sister, so they don't know what the hell's going on. And the only one at the house is my younger brother. Or, well, technically he's my older brother, but he's the younger of the two. And my brother knew exactly, like, what happened. But obviously it's not, like, his right to tell, like, my parents, like, oh, yeah, by the way, Cyclops did this. Because technically Cyclops should be the one, like, hey, I did this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, either way, parents are going to be upset. But however, at least he's taking, charge of situation or whatever and owning up to it. No, he didn't. And at this time, he had a job at the car wash over here, the classic car wash.
Right, yeah.
And at this time, it was kind of new where they did the whole, like, oh, if you make a dent in your car or whatever, like, they can repair it for you and, like, bump it out. So he thought it'd be a good idea. Oh, perfect. I'll take your dad's car there and do it. Oh, my God. So he popped out the dent. And before he made this dent with my dad's car, there was another dent on the side of my dad's car. So he decided to do both dents, like, out, to make it look, like, nice, I guess. I don't know. Oh, so then my parents come back home. I come back home from Hawaii. And he still has not told my parents at all. And Father's Day is approaching that following Sunday.
No.
So Father's Day rolls around. My dad just notices, like, his car. And my dad's like, oh, wow. Because, like, he knew Cyclops, like, worked at the car wash or whatever and, like, knew about the dents. And then my dad goes to Cyclops. He's like, oh, wow. Like, thank you for fixing, like, the bump in my car. Like, the previous bump, not the bump that, like, Cyclops caused. And Cyclops is like, yeah, happy early, like, Father's Day gift or whatever. And I was like, bro, like, that was your chance to tell him, but didn't, right? So Cyclops, like, still refuses. He's like, oh, I got away with it, like, it's fine. And I was, like, upset with him at this point.
Yeah,
I didn't want to show it because, like, we're technically, like, living together or whatever. I don't know, it was really weird. So then eventually, like, the neighbors come to my house, and my older brother is there because he's back from his girlfriend's house, and the neighbors are talking to him about, like, yo, so when are you gonna, like, fix our car? And my oldest brother's, like, hella confused because he was not here at all.
Wasn't there.
And then and then the neighbor tells him, like, oh, well, the white guy Cyclops, like, hit our car, like, what the hell is gonna happen, like, the insurance and stuff. And my brother was so confused. So then he eventually, like, told my parents, like, yo, Cyclops, like, used dad's car and, like, crashed it into the neighbor's car and also caused a dent in both his car and, like, their car. And my dad was so mad.
Dude, my dad,
which I don't blame him for.
Yikes.
I do not blame him for it because I would be so pissed.
No, I'd be pissed.
So eventually my dad pulls him aside, Cyclops aside, and I was like, hey, like, it's not cool of you for what you did, but, like, I'll forgive you. However, like, we're going to need your insurance and stuff because technically it shouldn't be out of our insurance because, it's not our fault. You're the one who took the car and it should be under your insurance or whatever. So his dad gets involved, right? Cyclops' dad, all of a sudden, Cyclops is like, oh my God, I have to talk to my dad and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then my dad's like, yeah, I'll give you, like, 5 days to figure this out. However, if you don't do it within 5 days, like, I'm going to have to, like, kick you out of the house because it's only right? Because, like, he's messing up, like, not only our house, but, like, also, like, that he doesn't want to fix the neighbor's car.
Yeah.
So then eventually, fast forward 5 days, it was my friend's birthday, so I go to San Francisco with her and her other friend, and I'm there, not thinking much of it while Cyclops is at my house. And then as I'm at my friend's house, I get a text from him saying, like, I got kicked out of your house. And I was hella confused because, like, what? So apparently I go back home because both my parents picked me up and I knew there was something off with it. And they're like, yeah, we kicked Cyclops out of the house. Like, he's really, like, toxic. Like, you can't be with him. Like, this man is literally, like, wild. And me, still being dumb, is like, no. Yeah, so anyways, we go home. Cyclops is at the park by my house because I literally live, like, 5 houses down from the park. And he's there with his duffel bag and stuff. And then he's telling me, like, don't believe what your parents say and blah, blah, blah. And my parents are like, don't believe what he says, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who the hell do I believe?
No, literally.
Even though I know I should, which I started to believe my parents because, like, I talked to everyone in my family individually and they all had their stories aligned while his was, like, fishy and, like, made no sense because every time I'd ask him, like, it'd be, like, different. And I was like, what the? Eventually, I was like, well, you can't come back in the house. Like, my dad kicked you out. Like, you can't come back in. Like, there's no way of convincing him. Because my dad is, like, stubborn. Once he has, like, a decision, like, it sticks with him. Like, you cannot change his mind.
My dad, too.
Yeah, I feel like most dads are. Anyways, so he's like, well, I guess I'm going to be homeless for the night. So I guess he sleeps by a creek by my house. I don't know. And then he was just really mad at me because he was like, how could you choose, like, them over me? And I'm like, first off, they're my family. Second of all, like, your stories weren't aligning. And, like, my family's, like, story was all aligning. Anyways, so annoying. Anyways, the next day, it was the 4th of July. And that earlier morning, he's like, oh, my God, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, like, love you too, whatever. And then he was like, oh, we need to talk in person or blah, blah, blah. Like, we need to discuss something. So it's like, okay. So I leave, like, my brother's girlfriend's, like, apartment area. I come to the park. He's like, oh, meet me at the park at 3 p.m. So I go, and I was like, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm not allowed to leave to go to the park.
What?
Where was he between sleeping at the creek to 3 p.m.? Oh, guess what? He's back at his house. He was like, yeah, my stepmom won't let me leave the house and go to the park. And I was mad because I'm like, I literally left my brother's girlfriend's house to just come to you to talk, and you're telling me you can't leave, and you could have told me this anytime sooner. And he was like, well, sorry. And I was like, no, you get your ass to the park right now, otherwise we're going to talk on the phone. And he's like, well, I can't really talk on the phone. I was like, talk on the phone, because I literally left just to talk to you. So eventually he gets his phone, and we're talking. He's like, yeah, I'm breaking up with you. Like, you're just like everyone else. You just follow the crowd. Like, he basically called me a piece of shit and stuff. And I was like, where the hell did this come from? Just because my dad kicked you out of the house? I was like,
bro, you're too good for him.
Such garbage. Anyways, eventually, yeah, he breaks up with me, and I was, like, hella confused, because I was like, wait, you literally were saying, like, I love you, what, like, 10 hours ago? And now all of a sudden you're like, yeah, we can't be together, blah, blah, blah. And he was just, like, mad on the phone, so I was like, okay, whatever. And then, obviously, my family was happy, like, oh my god, yay! And I was sad, because I was like, what the hell just happened here? Like, full on, like, switch. Anyways, I went to my friend's house later that day for 4th of July, like, barbecue to get my mind off things. And then that following Monday, this man's, like, text, or, like, meet me, or the next day, he actually texted me and was like, hey, good morning, like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, what the? You literally just said you don't want to speak to me ever again in your life, and you're texting me. Anyways, my dumbass went back home. On Monday, he's like, meet me at the McDonald's. Mind you, I biked all the way over there.
Oh my god.
I biked all the way to the McDonald's by Pioneer High School.
No!
Area. Yeah.
That's hella far.
A good 2 miles from my house. Yeah, I was sweaty, because it was summertime. But I did it. And then he was all talking, like, I'm so sorry how I treated you. Like, I took everything for, like, a mistake, like, for, like, granted, and, like, all that stuff. And my dumb ass was like, oh, my God, it's okay. So I took him back. And then a month later, literally, my body's like, no. And then a month later, he leaves for, like, the army or whatever to Georgia or something. And then once he leaves, everything was so smooth, because all you could do is send letters. Like, you could barely talk on the phone, because it's, like, basic training where they're not allowed to have phones or anything. It's, like, all locked up. So it's all letters, and the letter's like, oh, my God, I love you. I miss you so much. Like, can't wait to see you. So I was like, okay, like, everything seems fine. No. So then his graduation is, like, the week before Thanksgiving in November of 2017. This all happened within, like, a couple months.
Wow.
And I decided to be, like, nice and surprise him to his graduation. So he had no idea. I got tickets with his family, like, staying at the same hotel with his family. Like, everything was, like, with his family, but, like, his family didn't tell him anything. And, like, he was all sad, like, oh, my God, I wish you could come to my, like, graduation and stuff. And I was like, oh, me too, but, like, school, you know? Which, literally, school. So, anyways, I decided to surprise this man, and I turned off my location, because we always share a location.
Yeah.
But this man would, like, track my location, I guess.
Yeah, that's
because he got his phone back for that weekend because of, like, families visiting and, like, graduation. And he was like, where are you? Why'd you stop sharing your location and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, it's, like, nothing. Like, I thought it was, like, showing and blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, it's not showing or whatever. But he didn't make a big deal of it. So then the next day, I see him at his graduation, surprise him, and I thought this man would be more happy. But he was just like, oh, hey, you came.
What?
Like, what? I was like, yeah, aren't you excited? He's like, yeah, I am, but, like, he did not look excited at all, or, like, shocked or anything. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. So anyways, graduation was, like, at 10 in the morning over there, and then by the time, like, we finished, like, eating dinner and stuff and, like, went back to the hotel, it was, like, 6 p.m. or something, and he's like, oh, like, do you want to hang out in, like, the hotel lobby? And I was like, sure, like, why not? So we go, we buy ice cream. And I kid you not, within the first 5 minutes, this man starts an argument.
What?
He's like, I heard about you and, like, I won't say the guy's name. He's like, oh, I heard about you and, like, this guy. Like, how are you two doing? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, well, I heard stories about you guys. I was like, what do you mean stories? Mind you, I literally did nothing with this guy ever in my life. I literally just say hi, and that's it. And mind you, we had the same classes in high school. Like, that's it. And I was like, well, what stories did you hear? He's like, oh, nothing. Like, I don't want to say it because I already know you know the stories. He's like, no, tell me the stories and blah, blah, blah. So we just started a full-on argument my first day of being there and not seeing him since July. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Rude.
Just started arguments. Eventually, I leave because we fly out, like, 2 days later. And then after that, they get to keep their phones and stuff. So, like, he would call me nonstop. Like, as soon as I got out of class, boom, call me, like, just till I had to fall asleep. And mind you, like, my grades were, like, going down at this point because anytime I was like, oh, I have to go, like, I have to do homework. Because I don't think this man realized how much homework you get in college.
Literally.
And how much you got, like, you have to rely on the homework, let alone essays or, like, midterms and stuff, because they will bring your grade down if you don't do them or you don't do them well. As we have gone through. Anyways, I don't think he comprehended, or he's been out of school for so long to where he forgot. He's like, well, can't you do it later? I'm like, bro, it's literally like 6 p.m. here. Anyways, we'd get in arguments because he didn't want me to do like my homework because he wanted me to pay attention to him or whatever. And then he'd get mad saying like I pay more attention to like school than I do to him. I was like, sir, it's my education. I was like, I don't know what you expect. And he would just get mad at me over the smallest things. And, like, at this time, I was carpooling with my friend to Deanza. So she would hear all combos and all the arguments I got with him. And she'd just, like, listen. And I could just see her eyes, like, get all big. Like, ma'am, why are you still with this guy? And, yeah, this man was literally crazy. He'd call me nonstop. And I remember towards the end of our relationship, that's when everything just really, like, boom, like, car crash. It was, like, winter break because he came for 2 weeks. And that's when everything just went downhill, like, every single day. I mean, every single day would argue because he would just find something to argue about. It was just so annoying.
Right.
It makes me so mad just talking about it. And then,
did he ask your dad for his blessing? Because I have to imagine your dad would have said no.
Okay, I will get there because that's where I was about to actually start talking. So then he would... he would argue, like, every single day, and it got to the point to where one day he was arguing with me over the phone when he was back at his house, and his stepmom texted me, because I had the stepmom's number. She texted me, she's like, Sarah, like, you should not be with him, like, I don't know why, like, no guy should ever, like, raise their voice to a woman, which is right, because why the hell... And she was just saying, like, oh, my God, like, no guy should ever be raising your voice at you, let alone any woman. Like, I'm so sorry my stepson is treating you like this. Like, you should not be in a relationship like this. Like, this is super toxic. Like, if he ever tries to, like, talk to you again like this, like, tell him, talk to me with a normal voice or just don't talk to me or I'm going to hang up because don't appreciate being talked. And I was like, damn, this is coming from his stepmom.
For real.
Then during this time when she was telling me this, she also was, like, telling me in person, like, oh, by the way, when he said he got kicked out of the house, she's like, none of us kicked him out of the house. He decided to leave the house himself. So he never got kicked out from the house. He decided to leave, which it all made sense as to why he celebrated graduation with his family and why he still kept in contact with his sister and his dad. Wow. And this whole time I was like, damn, I was really just played and used this whole time just so he could live with me for a month and a half. And I was so mad when she told me that. And I remember I confronted him, and he's like, and he kept flipping his story. Like, he could not finish his story because he forgot the lie he told me in the beginning.
Oh, my God.
So it was like, oh, yeah, I got kicked out. Oh, wait, no, like, yeah, I kind of moved on myself, but, like, my stepmom still kicked me out. It's like all his stories, like, just didn't align. I was so mad. Yeah, and then eventually, any guy who talked to me or snapped me or, like, literally, and the snap would just be, like, a normal snap, like, hey, or, like, just, like, a DM from anyone, he would get so mad and just start an argument, and let alone even for my friends, like, he would get mad at me, like, giving attention to my friends, literally just texting, like, hey, how are you? Like, he'd be like, why are you texting them? And I'll be like,
oh, my God.
Sir, this is a woman. What am I gonna do? And, anyways, yeah, about that blessing. No, he never asked my parents. So this came up because at this time, my brother, not the oldest one who was living with his girlfriend, but the other brother who's younger than the older one. So he has a girlfriend and he's still with her. He, I don't know, Cyclops somehow like kind of became close with like my brother's girlfriend during the time I was gone, I guess, from Hawaii, because, like, I guess she was over or whatever, yeah. And so he would, like, talk to her and be like, oh, like, how's Sarah doing? Like, where's Sarah doing? Like, oh, do you think I should do this with Sarah? Blah, 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 right? And, like, she would give her opinion. So then one time on Snap, because that's all he had, he didn't have her number, he asked her, like, oh, how would you feel about Sarah and I getting married? And she was like, what?
Me.
And then... yeah, so then he was asking, like, marriage questions, right? And I guess she told my parents and my whole family, like, hey, like, Cyclops is, like, asking, like, me about, like, him and, like, Sarah, like, getting married and blah, blah, blah. And I remember I came home from work, I believe. And I came home from work, and I was literally about to go shower and stuff. And as soon as I walked in the door, my mom had this face, and I've never seen my mom so mad before in her life. She was like, you need to go in the living room and sit down right now. And I was like, my God, what the hell just happened? Because I was so confused because nobody like warned me or I didn't know anything. Like, and I sit down, and I kid you not, this convo was about 3 to 4 hours long, saying like, why the hell are you getting married? Like, why would you get with him? And they're like all trying to like talk like you cannot be with this guy, blah blah blah. Right?
Wait, but like he didn't even propose at this point, right?
No, he didn't.
So like you're like what the?
Yeah, I was really confused. I was like, we're not getting married. Like, I don't know where you're getting this from, blah, 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 and all this. And then at this point, because this point, he's already back and flew back to Georgia or whatever. And then I think it was the following week, mind you, he's still arguing with me every single day. It's just, I don't know why I decided to stay. I'm going to be honest. I guess I just like the drama. I don't know any other reason, like, but it also made me really mad to where, like, I wasn't eating much. Because have you ever gotten that feeling where you got, like, so mad to where, like, you're just not hungry and, like, you're just full of just, like, anger to where it's just, like, ugh.
My tummy is full of rage.
Pretty much, yeah. And then eventually that following week, we were on FaceTime and he was arguing with me. And I just got home from work, too. And I was, like, parked by my house. And he was just arguing with me for, like, a good... Because I got off of work at 9:30 p.m. Because I used to get off at 9:30. He was arguing with me till, like, midnight.
What the...
And all of a sudden, the mood changed. And he was like, do you remember the box I gave you, like, before I left? And I was like, yeah. And he gave me this box, right? And he's like, oh, don't open it. He's like, I want you to open it. So I go in the house, open it. And it's a ring, like, an engagement ring. I was like, what the hell is... in my head, I was like, what the hell is this? But, like, I was like, wait, what? I was like, that was in there? And then he was, like, doing, like, this whole proposal, like, after having, like, this big-ass argument,
yeah,
right?
what the...
And I wanted to say no, right? But I knew exactly what I would get myself into if I said no, and I was so tired, dude. Like, my eyes were shutting. So I just said yes, so I could just shut up. So then...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, right, so I said yes, and then... Yeah, a week later, I ended things with him because it was just, I just literally had my breaking point because one of the last points, because, like, everything, like, couldn't talk to friends, couldn't talk to anyone, couldn't even talk to my own family members, had to pay attention to him, couldn't even focus on school. Grades were dropping because I was focusing on him, which is some BS because I should have been focusing on school.
Me.
It was just everything. Like, he would just point out, it was just everything. And then the last point was he was giving me ultimatums. Like, it's either, like, that friend or me. Like, who are you going to pick? Like, your friend or me? And I was like, are you for real? Like, an ultimatum? Like, that's crazy. He's like, if you pick your friend, like, this relationship's over. But if you pick me, like, we can continue being together. It was just, like, a bunch of rules. Also, he wanted me to move all the way to North Carolina with him.
Right.
It's literally the middle of nowhere.
You were telling me about this.
I'm brown. He's white. They're gonna know.
Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know. How would they know?
I already went to Georgia once, so let me just say, I was getting some stares over there.
Oh,
I was like, I do not feel comfy over here. Yeah, and he was like, well, just do school online. And I was like, I'm sorry. He wanted me to change my whole life, my whole career goals and everything just to be centered around him, which I was like, hell no. So eventually I just had enough of it, and I ended things with him.
Thank God.
Yeah. It was fun, and he blackmailed me. Fun.
Love that.
He threatened me. Fun. He blackmailed me. He threatened me.
Oh my God.
Called me. Yeah, he called me pretty much everything that he did and said. Could have got him kicked out of the army. However, I didn't do it because I knew I'd have to do a bunch of paperwork, which I wasn't willing to do, nor was it worth my time.
Girl, that sounds like too much.
Yeah, pretty much. But he fit a restraining order. I could have gotten one on him. Because he threatened me, like, all the time. I was like, what the hell?
He's scary.
Yeah, and I remember I put it on Twitter, like, the whole thing, and, like, that thing, like, blew up. Like, a bunch of people from high school were like, oh, my God, like, I never knew he was like this, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, like, this man is, like, literally crazy. And then I remember 2 months later, I guess he somehow found my Twitter. Well, not found it, because I still had Twitter, like, technically, when we were still together. He, like, I don't know if he was, like, stalking my Twitter, or if, like, a friend or someone told him about it. And then I remember he, like, DM'd me, and was like, hey, what's on your Twitter, like, take it down, and blah, 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 like, all this BS, and I was like,
no.
What the? Yeah, but flash forward to now, I guess he got a woman pregnant, she's got already 2 kids, about to have 3, married, she's older than him, so yeah, I guess he's living his life in North Carolina now.
Wow. The parallels between your
I know.
whole
Well, I'm up here.
experience is wild.
Yeah.
Oh man, I
Love
remember
men.
like being on the bus on the way to Lane in Oregon when I found out that you were engaged, and I remember texting you like, "Oh my God, are you gonna move? Like, where's your wedding gonna be?" And I was like excited for you, but I wasn't, like I wasn't there for college, so like I had no idea that all this was happening, because we were tight in high school, and then I feel like that summer we just like didn't talk much, so I feel like we didn't talk much when I was first starting college in Oregon, and like I could not even tell you why we started hanging out again, but I'm so glad that we did.
Well, to be fair, during that time period, you weren't the only one I was talking to. I literally cut off every friend in my life because Cyclops wanted me to focus just on him and would get so mad at me giving anyone else attention. So that's a reason. And then also, yeah, none of my friends knew anything about this until the day I broke up with Cyclops. And I remember I FaceTimed Maddie, and she was like, wait, what is going on? Also, mind you, this guy, towards the end of our relationship, would call my house phone at 3 in the morning if I didn't pick up my phone. Yeah, so if I didn't answer my phone, because it would wake me up because of the vibration, which is why now I have a different, ringtone for my phone, because that gives me PTSD. So hearing that same ringtone, so it still scares me. Anyways, if I didn't pick up my phone, which you would automatically wake me up, because I'd be like, oh God, he's calling, but I don't want to talk to him. So I'd just say like, I'm sleeping, because time zone differences or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just wouldn't respond. So he'd call my house phone multiple times and wake up everyone in the house, but didn't pick up. And he'd just keep calling and calling and calling the house phone until I eventually heard it, and then would pick up and call from my phone.
What the?
And my parents would be so mad. And then I'll never forget when he texted my mom when we broke up. And he's like, yeah, just let you know. He was like, hi, Mrs. Campista. This is Cyclops. Just want to let you know that every single time I was with your daughter, we were like 99% sexually active. I think you should check her into... I think you should... Wait, no, it gets better. I think you should check her into a mental hospital because she mentioned that she's suicidal. And I was like, hold up. I'll never forget, my mom sent me a screenshot, and she called me right away, and she was like, read this, I can't believe he said this, and she started laughing, and then I was like, he said I was suicidal. Mind you, I said I was feeling like kind of sad, because everyone feels sad sometimes.
Yeah.
And this man took it like as if I were suicidal. Oh my God.
He goes, Sarah has a gun in her mouth right now, Miss Campista.
As I'm at the Habit with my friend trying to eat this burger, but I couldn't eat this burger because I was so mad. Oh, yeah. He was something, dude.
I didn't know that he was, like, capable of being, like, crazy. Hold on, Ella's screaming. Oh, my God. Ella. Go ahead. Could you hear her cat noises?
I did.
For everybody listening, Sarah has had the pleasure of hearing me talk about all these things individually as they happened live. So yes, props to Sarah for sitting through it again.
Let me just say, it felt like watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I don't know how else to explain it other than it was action and drama filled.
For real. The way that I'm gonna, like, cut a ton of stuff out of this too, but we'll see how it goes.
Gotta keep it PG-13.
I know, right? We gotta keep it clean. Alright, well, I met Professor X, Charles Xavier, whoever you want to call him, at work in the summer. And he has this way about him where, like, I've been told he's not very attractive. I can second that. However, I thought he was kind of cute, and I thought that he was really sweet because he would, like, go out of his way to make me feel included. So, like, at work, I'm, like, a civilian team member, and he was, like, a team lead. And, like, obviously, I'm not going to say his name, but I am going to say his job, which was that he's like, oh, yeah, I'm a paramedic. And he, like, talked big. Like, he talked a paramedic. And so we always did, like, this paramedic question of the day. So every day, he would come running over to me. He'd park on the side of the building that he knew I was going to be at, and he'd make an effort to come over several times to answer a question from my little question bag for me. And it just, like, made me feel so special. I mean, like, probably I shouldn't because I should be working, but, like, I mean, I'm still wiping carts while we're talking, so...
Still the little things that matter.
I know, I was like, wow, the chivalry isn't dead.
But wait.
Just wait. So, this is, like, the time period where we kind of didn't know what was going on with our, like, home situation, in the sense that I thought we were not moving for 2 years. And then my dad is like, we're moving in, like, 4 months. And I was like, wait, what? So, but we didn't have, like, a for sure date because our house was not on the market yet, so we didn't know, like, when we're moving to Texas, when we're not. So, being me, I, you know, really look up to Professor X, and I was like, you know, I do this with all my friends, like, I wanted to hang out with him before I move. Like, I mean, I hung out with you, I hung out with Bree, I hung out with Nick, like, it's just something I do. So I didn't think anything of it. I asked him, like, hey, you know, like, let's hang out. And he texted me, because I've been told by other people that he, like, doesn't go out much. They're like, oh, good luck getting Charles out, like, he's not gonna come out. So I was, like, really surprised because he texted me and was like, hey, what are you doing right now? I'm like, I'm picking up food for my dad with my mom right now. I'm like, I could get out of the car, though, and walk back to the house. He's like, no, like, you know, have fun with your mom. I was just thinking about going out. And I'm like, well, I'll be back in, like, 20 minutes if you want to wait a minute. He's like, okay, I'll come pick you up. I'm like, all right. So he's like, I kind of want to surprise you, so I don't really know, like, where we're gonna go yet. And I'm like, okay, we can, you know, figure it out when you get here. And I will never forget this. Oh my god, this gives me such PTSD. Like, when I hate this. When he pulled up to my house, and I opened the door to his car, and I don't know what the expecting, because at work, you know, he's so clean cut. Like, I say cautiously, like, he's got, you know, like, decently clean jeans and, like, a red polo shirt. And
yeah,
he pulls up, he's in, like, black mesh, like, basketball shorts and a black, like, t-shirt. And first of all, a girl got dressed up for this. Like, I don't get dressed up. And I had, like, my nice jeans, a crop top. I did my hair and I put on makeup. And he's just sitting there with this big-ass grin. And he's got these douchey sunglasses on. And when I open the door, he, like, turns his head and just smiles. And for some reason, that moment just replays in my head. Because I'm like, I should not have gotten in the car. Like, I should have just not, but I did anyways, because I'm like, but he's so sweet, and he's, like, nice to me, but I wish I didn't get in the car.
Big regretties.
For real. And we drive around for, like, straight up, like, 30 minutes, because he's like, okay, where do you want to go? And I'm like, literally, it's Corona, like, everything was closed, and I'm, like, indecisive. I'm like, I don't like being put on the spot. And so we drive around, like, literally in circles for, like, 30 minutes. We're just kind of talking, and he eventually is like, let's go to a key, since, like, you know, like, I hear you talking about a key. And I'm, like, thinking about it now, I'm like, this bitch, you probably had that planned. But we go to a key, and if anyone is familiar, they make industrial strength margaritas. And let me say, I had never finished a full one by myself until that night. And it didn't hit me right away, but, like, when it did, like, it hit. And he's like, you want to go, you know, like, you want to go to, like, a liquor store? Like, let's get some more. I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, let's go, like, I'll buy. And so he takes me to this liquor store on Almaden Expressway and, like, Redmond. And I literally could not walk in a straight line. Like, I was not there at all. Like, I had to pretend to be sober when we entered the establishment because I was like, I don't know what's going on right now. And he picks out these, like, apple or, like, peach something because he knew I would drink it, even though he doesn't like, fruity drinks. I'm like, whatever, okay? Like, you're a man, I get it, whatever. And he takes me to the park. And for the sake of keeping this podcast appropriate, I'm not gonna go into details of what he liked to do at this park. But I will say it was grooming, and he, like, threatened me and, like, my job. So he's like, if you tell anyone at work that we're seeing each other, whatever, outside of work, he's like, you'll be fired and they'll keep me because, like, I'm the boss man, so they're gonna keep me. I'm like, whatever. And also that was a lie. That's straight up false. So don't believe that if anybody tells you that. What else about this man? His
red flag alert.
his lies, Sarah.
Oh God! Start with them because every single thing that came out of his mouth was
Jesus Christ. So okay, let me break this down for you because this man is a lot. So he tells me in the 1 month that we're together, he's like, yeah, I invested like $15,000 when I was like 15 years old, and I made like 100,000 something off stocks alone last year with this one company, and go to Cancun every other year, and I just bought myself a boat, blah blah blah. And he talks so big about all this money that he has. He's like got 2 cars, he has his fancy sports car, he has a $27,000 fish tank in his house, 3 of them actually, which is quite ridiculous. Anyways, so he likes to paint himself as, like, a Tony Stark kind of guy, but he's
I don't see the similarities.
Not. He, like, wishes he was a playboy philanthropist. Anyways, so that's some of his lies, and then we've also got his lovely text messages. So this man likes to say things like, a woman's job is to serve the man, and, like, servant girlfriend sounds sexy to me. And I'm like, what the, like, this is, this goes against every, like, feminist bone in my body. So I was like, what does that even mean? And I asked him, and he's like, well, I like to be dominant, so, like, that means I wear the pants in the relationship, and, like, it means this, and I'm like, what the heck? And he's like, here's some rules, and I'm like, you must be joking. Like, there's no way this is real. And he's like, rule number 1, you're never allowed to tell me no. Your lack of consent is a turn on. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, no.
Like, that was such a red flag for me, and that's the only red flag that I actually, like, acted on, first of all. So, like, I constantly was telling him, like, hey, I'm a virgin, I'm, like, not comfortable with this, like, I need you to know what I'm comfortable with if this is gonna move forward, and if I say a hard no to something, like, you need to respect that. And he had a freaking temper tantrum. He's 30 years old and he had a temper tantrum. He's like, well, you can't say that. You're not supposed to tell me no. You have to do what I want. Like, this is a trust thing. If you don't trust me, it's not gonna work. And I'm like, bro, are you mad at me for that? And he's like, just disappointed. Like, good night, Kayla. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And he's very manipulative in the way he'll phrase things. So he totally made me feel like this is all on me. Like, it's my fault because I'm not ready and I don't want to do, like, some crazy sex thing. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is me projecting my trust issues from Wolverine onto Professor X. And I'm like, that's not fair to him. I know that I like to take things slower. Maybe it is on me. Ladies, it is not on you.
Also, can I just say,
yeah,
at least Christian Christian Grey knew the word no and would stop. Like, yeah, the man had rules, but at least if you said no, he'd be like, okay.
Yeah, no, so 50 Shades is like, he literally compared it to that. He's like, yeah, so I'm like the Christian Grey, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Christian Grey has the safe word, the hard limits. They talk about it, and they come to an agreement of what is okay and what is not. Like, there are boundaries, right? But he didn't have that. He's like, you need to trust me. So, for example, I may or may not cut this out because this is, like, really vulgar, but he's like, well, you have to trust me, with, like, a winky face. I'm like, bitch, I know you're not gonna stop me.
No, what he wouldn't. He'd probably, like, no, he wouldn't, knowing, no. That's a lie.
Yep, literally.
Just like everything else he's told in his life.
I know, right? Oh my god, he just talks so big. He's like, yeah, I wear Magnum condoms, XL, because I'm like 12 inches. I'm like, whatever, man. Oh my god, men are so fragile. Anyways, this man also can't spell. I think I sent you screenshots, but he can't spell the word apple. So
yes,
when we were talking about apple cider, he spells it APLESIDER.
So you think that
and he
Apple
can't
would help
spell
him with the autocorrect, but no.
Right? He can't spell Halloween. Like, he spells it Halloween. I can't even begin to describe the way he spells automatically.
Get yourself an educated man.
Literally, I felt, because, like, I'm really big into books and writing and reading, and so spelling errors and grammatical errors are such a turn off for me, for whether it's reading or, like, just the way that people speak. And so anytime he texted me, I'm like, oh, my mans can't spell. And it, like, pained my soul so much. Like, what else? He does cocaine. I'm so not proud of having been with this man, because I remember getting in his car once and he's like, oh yeah, I was at this like party for a 2-year-old and my neighbor asked me if I wanted some Coke, and I said yeah, and it took me a minute and I'm like, oh my god, you're not talking about Coca-Cola, are you? And he's like, no, like, I'm talking about, like, I literally, Sarah, I thought he meant he offered him a drink. I'm like, yeah, big deal, like, whatever, like, I like Sprite. And he's like, I'm talking about the drug. And I was like, why would you do that? Like, I was so mad at him, because he just thinks it's funny. Like, he thinks it makes him look cool. And I'm like, it doesn't make you look cool, though. It makes you look stupid. You're 30 years old. And he just does, you know, like, the total bare minimum. So anytime he was trying to, like, you know, get me back after I dumped him, he's like, hey, I thought of you when I was getting dressed this morning. And it's like a flannel, and he just rolled the sleeves because I think it's hot. And I'm like, so you got dressed? He's like, and I have my hair down. And I'm like, so you didn't do your hair? And you put on a shirt like a big boy? Like,
congratulations.
Yay! He's like, with them blue-green eyes and a smile you can see. I'm like, you're wearing a mask, bro. No one can see this supposed smile, but alright. I don't know. He was just the worst. Like, he's just the worst kind of guy. He was trying to guilt me after I broke up with him the whole time. I'm like, because he knows my mental illness triggers. Like, he knows how to make me feel terrible all the time. He takes me for granted. And, like, here's the real tea that nobody else in my family knows except for my grandma. So, he talks so big about his paramedic stuff. Like, he sent me photos of him at his, like, graduation, he called it. He made me spray paint him a picture of him as a paramedic that says Dr. Professor X. And I almost slipped up there for a minute. And I just, like, you know, we do our question of the day, and it was just literally a whole thing. And it's not just something he told me, like, everybody at work calls him Dr. Professor X. Like, it's a whole thing, and it's kind of stupid. So I need to just take a minute to justify my actions here. So he told me that he was in school to be a respiratory therapist, which, you know, means that he would have access to anesthesia. And knowing, one, that he's manipulative, two, that he's an incredible liar and he grooms people, and three, just the sexual abuse stuff that he did to me, I was like, I really feel uncomfortable letting him go into a field of work where he has access to anesthesia. And also just practicing medicine in general, it makes me unsettled. So,
which is valid, because the man's wild.
Yeah, like, I just didn't trust it, you know? And kind of the same way that, you know, if someone is assaulted and you report it and it stops them from doing it to someone else, like, I kind of wanted to be, like, the last person he did this to. And so I was like, I'm gonna do something about this. So this actually came to me in a dream, so I'm surprised it worked. But I emailed his school that he got his graduation certified whatever thing from. And I was talking to this guy, Matt, and he told me, you know, like, hey, I hear you, we totally take this seriously, like, but we're just a school. He's like, you know, we don't control what they do after. All we do is we teach a class and we give them a certificate that says we recommend this person become an EMT, but they don't actually get certified at this school. So literally, it's like a CPR class, and you get, like, your little, like, I'm certified for 2 years, you know what I mean? It's like it's like a class. And so I'm like, okay. And he's like, but, you know, I recommend that you go directly through the county that he would have been practicing in and go from there and go, like, up the ladder. I'm like, okay. So obviously, we're from San Jose. So Santa Clara County is who I would be going to. So I then call this guy Daniel from Santa Clara County, and, well, I actually emailed him first, and he called me back. So I emailed him, told him the whole shebang, and thank God, like, these men were very respectful, because I'm honestly not even gonna lie, I'm a judgmental person, and when I got a voicemail that sounded like it was from, like, a middle-aged white man, I was like, he's not gonna believe me. Like, he's gonna side with him, you know what I mean? And that was just my assumption. So I was very pleasantly surprised that they were both, like, extremely respectful and supportive. So I talked to this guy Daniel, and he's like, hey, you know, the email I just sent you back is very blunt. So he's like, I wanted to call you to make it more personal and, like, kind of explain to you what the situation is. And I was like, I appreciate that. Thank you, you know, go on. And he's like, we took the information you gave. He's like, first of all, sorry you had to go through that. This man sounds like a piece of shit, is word for word what he said. And he's like, you know, we searched our databases, and then we actually contacted the state of California on your behalf because this, you know, this behavior is reprehensible. And he tells me, he's like, we talked to the people at the state, the entire state of California, and he tells me there is no Charles Xavier that is or was a paramedic or EMT. And I said, what?
What?
Literally, the pause that ensued when he said that, because he could tell I was shocked. He's like, you know, I don't know why someone would lie about this. And I'm like, hold up. I'm like, sorry. I'm like, say that again.
Say that again, and know that if you're lying to me, I will find you, and I will skin you.
Again. Because I simply, like, I don't understand. And he's like, we looked everything up. He goes, we looked up Charles. We looked up Charles Xavier. Charles' middle name Xavier. He's like, there is no record of that person under that name or any variation of their name practicing EMT or paramedics in California. So he never...
That's so scary.
He never had his license. He never was certified. So this whole time that we're dating, and he's pulling out his freaking ID and is like, oh, I should get this other thing, like, you know, recertified. It was, like, a lie. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that's laughable. This is satire. Like, I simply don't... You know, I mean, like, I'm not surprised that he lied, but also, like, what the... Like, that's crazy. And I definitely took a minute, because I was like, what the hell? And, like, that's just wild, because he has sent me... This is another crazy thing he does. He has sent me photos of him hooking himself up to, like, a medical-grade saline IV. Like, because he was too hungover. And it's, like, I don't know what it's called, because, like, you're in medicine. Maybe you know what it's called. The thing with the needle that goes in your arm and you, like, tape it there.
Like the IV?
Is that part the actual IV?
Like a...
It's like
a saline solution type of thing?
So he has, like, the saline bag, but he also has the tubing, and then it's the needle, and you tape it, and it's got this separate tube where you can attach, like, medicine to it, you know, and pump that in, too. So you only have to put one needle in.
I see.
I don't know what it's called, but any medical professionals out there, it was one of those, and I looked it up, and it's like, you know, like, it's a medical grade thing, like, you need a license to buy it most times, and also they're expensive. So I'm like, if he didn't have a license, you know, and he probably doesn't have this money, like, where is he getting this from? Because he told me he stole it from an ambulance while he was a paramedic, and he was never a paramedic, so I'm like, what the, like, I don't, huh? I don't know.
That's
it's
freaky.
So suspicious. And similar to Cyclops, Professor X has also knocked up quite a few women. So he's got one daughter who's, like, 8 now that he doesn't have custody of, and he doesn't, like, pay child support, or he does, but he does in a way that it doesn't cover her, so he can't get pinned for it. It's literally stupid. It's actually disgusting. Like, I'm offended for his ex that he does that. And then, you know, like, he just knocked up this other woman who probably has had her baby by now. And I called him out. I asked him about it, like, months ago. I asked him when we were first together, and he was like, no, it's not mine. And, like, he lied to me about why they broke up. And then he, you know, like, I asked him recently, I'm like, hey, rumors are going around that, you know, this baby is yours. Like, is that true? And he's like, no, like, what the, he's like, I would never lie to you. He's like, I only have one daughter, and I told you about her, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so you've now just lied to my face. So,
yeah,
we're over that. But, like, I don't know, I really hate that I thought that I loved him, you know, because I almost said it once to my grandma on the phone. She was asking me about him, and I almost said, like, I love him. But I caught myself, because I was like, I don't want to say it, like, out loud until, like, I mean it. And so I never said it, and he asked me about it once. He never said it to me, but he's like, do you love me? Do you want to have my kids? I'm like, what the, like, bro. Like,
first off, you don't want your own kids. Like,
that's what I said. You don't even want your kids. Why are you asking me if I want your kids? Absolutely not. I'm like, I'm ashamed that he let me, or I let him talk me into, like, having sex with him, because I'm like, ugh. Like, I wish that I could take it back a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, experience is experience, I'll take it, but at the same time, like, very, you know, it was not like, oh, that was sweet, like, my first time. It's like, no, like, the lights were off, and it was traumatic, and I think about it all the time, but literally. And I'm thankful for friends like you and, like, Bree, and shout out Rhiannon and Jenny for convincing me to break up with him, because I was not prepared to do it in the slightest.
Well, thank God you did, because the man was just crazier after.
Oh my God, like, the way that my mom was so happy when I told her that I dumped him. Like, I obviously, like, you know, like, was sad and conflicted, but, like, I took her to Mr. Mojito's, and we had some mojitos, and I told her, like, all the stuff that I wasn't telling her about, like, the gross stuff he was doing. And
Yeah.
she was like, she's like, I'm shocked. She's like, I cannot believe, I mean, she's like, your dad and I never liked him because he wouldn't come meet us, and, like, he never came to the door to get you. But she's like, I'm so glad that, like, you're not with that anymore, because she's like, I think he would have started hitting you or something. I'm like, you know, you right.
You know, you're not wrong, Mom.
For real. And then he called out sick for, like, a week, and my mom's like, you broke him. She's like, I think it's so funny that he thinks he's the shit and you dumped him. She thinks that's awesome.
True.
Shout out,
First time
Mom.
ever, he's like, I don't know how to act.
Literally, he was like, oh my god. And then he was, like, being mean to me at work, too. I'm like, really? Like, you're acting like a child coming over to Starbucks to glare at me when you work in the back, like, whatever.
You're like, sir, you are over 30. Get it together.
Literally, like, I simply cease to understand how he's gotten away with this for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love it. I'm, in therapy, so...
Shout out. Shout out for that being on my list now for therapy.
For real, I got the growing list. I'm like, now I, don't trust men. I've got PTSD. I have trust issues about dating, but whatever, it's all fine.
Maybe white men are not the move.
White men with that haircut.
White men who specifically are both built similarly are not the
Who
move.
put rules on it and knock up women.
Yeah. Not the move, or men who create rules,
We don't want that here. We don't need it. We don't want it. Keep it to yourself or take it somewhere
Please.
else. Yeah, I think, I mean, I know, like, there's no, ending, obviously. I was gonna say there's no happy ending, because it's ongoing, but, like, you have a really nice boyfriend now. I'm still single, but I'm much happier single than I was in a relationship, and I'm, like,
Oh, yeah.
really excited to meet the right guy, whenever that is, so I'm kind of chilling.
Let me just say the moment, and I'm pretty sure you can relate, is, like, as soon as you let go, yeah, it was sad, and you're also mad, but then it's, like, you just feel so free.
Did you
like,
also
oh my
have that,
God.
like, deep breath moment? Because I remember, like, I dumped him at, like, in the morning or something, and then that night I went to sleep, and the next morning after that, I remember going into the kitchen, and I'm like, Mom, that was, like, the most restful sleep that I have had in a month, because it was the first time I was not worrying about him, about his safety, about if he's mad at me. Like, it was, like, so, like, freeing. I was like, wow, I only have to worry about me, and that's it? Like, what the...
Yeah, exactly how I felt. I mean, to be fair, like, the first couple nights, I was still mad and, and just couldn't fall asleep because I was so mad. But then after, like, a good week, I could sleep and I felt really good.
I got hit with a second wave of sadness, but I was initially very relieved.
Agreed. Also, I forgot to mention, this man emailed me when I had him blocked on everything.
Oh, yeah!
I still have the email.
I remember you
I got
showed it to
scared
me.
because I don't know how to block someone, like, on Gmail, because we used to, like, do Google Duo, and I was so scared because, like, you have to click on the icon, but I was like, what if I accidentally call him and I don't want to call him at all? And I was like, oh, God.
No, literally, I feel the same.
Oh, my God, wait. I forgot. Cyclops sent an email of when I posted on Twitter. It's like a full-on essay. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'll send it to you right now.
Oh my god,
Damn,
I'm excited.
I forgot about this.
I'll read it later tonight.
Men.
They are...
Also throwback, because he blamed his anxiety on me and that it was all my fault.
Yeah, that's right. Like, what the... Like,
You gave me anxiety. I had to see a therapist.
So did I! Oh, man. Like, I don't know how I could think that I was so happy when in reality I was, like, so mentally ill.
Just miserable, yeah. But now look at us. Okay, we're in different
Look, we're
right
thriving.
now. We're thriving.
Well, lessons have been learned.
Been learned.
Just for everybody, listening, if you may need it, I am going to put a link to different hotlines for assault and abuse in the description. So hopefully you don't need them, but because this is an unfortunately relatable topic, I am going to put them down there. Alright, well, as always, Sarah, it was fun talking with you about our shared PTSD about men.
I love it. I love the PTSD. I'm going to be thinking about it at work today, be like, good times.
Literally, the past couple nights leading up to this that I've been thinking about it in my gotta talk about. Oh, well.
It's okay, because we talked about it. It's out there. Hopefully don't need to talk about it ever again unless that man does something dumb, which hopefully he doesn't, but knowing his history, it's bound to happen.
Catch me in 10 years finding out that, like, he has, like, 10 different kids with 10 different women.
Oh, God.
We'll do a part 2.
Part 2. A year later. Where are they now?
Oh, my God. Are they still trash? The answer is yes.
The answer is yes, and they always will be.
Alright, shout out to the Bay Area men for being hot fire garbage and giving us content to talk about today.
Woohoo!
Alright, Sarah, I will talk to you later.
Okie doke, sounds good, Kayla. I gotta get ready for work now.
Alright. Have fun.
Right. Thanks, I'll try, although these customers are pretty rude. But thanks, I'll try.
Bye.
Bye. Tell the cats I said hello.
I will.
And the stray one.
Buddy.
He shows up. Alright, bye, Kayla.
Bye.